Good afternoon. My introduction will be on the basic principles of evolutionary psychology, such as prepared learning, inclusive fitness and kin selection, reciprocity and cooperation, and parental investment. If I'm going to teach you this topic, I must admit that there are three main criticisms of evolutionary psychology. That is, that evolutionary psychology is reduction, that it rests on a false notion of modularity and cognitive organization, and that is bad science, and that it is often involves imaginative but unproven adaptationist accounts known as just so stories. Evolution psychology is the study of our behaviors, thoughts, and feelings. Evolutionary psychologist presumes that all human behaviors reflect the influence of physical and psychological predispositions that helped our human ancestors survive and reproduce. For example, we have learned from our ancestors that when we as humans find a mate, we must impress them by dressing up and, bearing gifts and doing our hair and trying to look good. The anxiety of trying to figure out just what to wear or even how we should smell and present ourselves is a learned behavior. This described evolution behavior has shaped us to provide a meriting advantage rather than only a survival advantage. Gene selection theory, also explained as the biological, occurs through this desire for gene replication. But how did you learn these particular behaviors? Where did the idea of actually like trying to figure out what to wear or even how we should smell and present ourselves come from? Well, one way possible is that we learned this behavior from each other. And also possibly that they are biologically programmed into us, because whether we like it or not, we learn evolution is a past, and we learn from our past and our ancestors. So, although our ancestors may not have been doing all the things that we put our effort into now, but this is the same driving force, the powerful influence of evolutions with its behavioral traits. So our past learned experience are from our ancestors, and some we've just learned and experienced on our own, and that's nothing wrong with that. But truly enough, as it says, history certainly repeats itself. Now, changes as such as evolutionary psychology, it connects evolutionary principles with modern psychology, but it focuses more on psychological adaptations. This means more changes in the way we think in order to improve our survival skills and our behaviors. The other evolutionary psychological theory is error management theory, and that describes the evolution of biases in the way we think about everything. For example, it deals with how we think, like humans are animals, or even how we make our decisions, such as I'm going to be a doctor, and even evaluate uncertain situations, like identifying the minimum required sources of certainty, or even researching various sources of information. But even so, as the reason why it is important that we learn about evolution psychology is that it is compatible to cognitive neuropsychology. Evolutionary psychology helps to identify psychological adaptation and their ultimate evolutionary functions, while neuropsychology helps to identify the proximate manifestation of these adaptations. And that concludes the teaching on the topic evolutionary theories and psychology.